Okay, you've just heard. Today there appeared to be a sort of a verdict, but not really, a partial verdict. What does this mean? And what is this Allen charge? Here's the latest. We're going to pick up tomorrow regarding Diddy. Nobody knows for sure. The judge sent the jury back for this thing called an Allen, or it's also called a shotgun charge. And what that means is, come on, go back there and think about it. Don't say you can't come up with a verdict. Don't say you've exhausted everything, because you haven't. Go back and do your best. And that's great for prosecution, but not for defendants, because defendants want there to be a hung jury. It's like once they say we can't make up our mind, that's it. Defense wants to say that's it. Call it a shot. We'll leave. End of discussion. And it's this kind of a persuasive. I don't really know. It's like, come on, you don't mean it. Go back, think about it. You can do it. Now the jury is going to decide the following. Let me break this down. As to count one, racketeering, apparently there is no verdict on that one. I mean, that means that's going to be hung or not guilty. You can throw that one away. And that was the most serious. That was beyond serious. That was really. I'm trying to hide this reflection of my glasses. Sorry about that, because I've got my iPad here. The first question is, how do you find the defendant not guilty or guilty as to count one, racketeering conspiracy? If and only if you find the defendant guilty of count one, which types of racketeering acts do you unanimously find were involved in the offense? The first, acts involving kidnapping. Proved or not proved? Kidnapping? Acts involving arson. Proved or unproved? This might be an old jury form. I'm looking at that. Acts involving bribery. Acts involving witness tampering. Acts involving forced labor. Acts involving sex trafficking. Acts involving transportation for purposes of prostitution. Acts involving drug distribution. If this is off the table because of either a full-blown acquittal or just if they're just hung on that, wow. That means they didn't find at least two predicate acts, two of these. So we'll see. Next, count two, sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura, which is the most ridiculous. Sex trafficking of her? Guilty or not guilty? And three, Mann Act transportation. Cassie Ventura. Did they transport Cassie Ventura for prostitution? She was a prostitute? This is still the most unbelievably stupid case. Her, every time you hear, Ike Turner could have been charged with what? Violation of the Mann Act because he sex trafficked Tina Turner? I mean, this is not it. So anyway, you're hearing this mindlessness. Unless and until you hear the verdict, I don't know what they say. They're unable to achieve a verdict. Meaning, or they have reached a verdict, excuse me. It might be an acquittal. Remember, unanimous either way. So I can sit here and go through all the permutations. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't want to bore you with this. But the bottom line is this case stinks. And it will go down in history as being a stinker. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I wanted to tell you, first of all, thank you for following us and providing this information. Unless you are there in the courtroom, unless you get to see how people act, unless you get the feel for what is going on, you can't make any decisions or statements regarding this. You can't. I am telling you, and you've heard my other videos as to why I don't think it's trafficking and the like. And it's not. And it sure as hell isn't racketeering. This is the biggest overreach. So I still think if the jury somehow comes up with are they saying, by the way, that Cassie Ventura was a prostitute? That she was prostituted? Are they saying that think about this one. Are they going to say, if they find him guilty, that she was a prostitute, that he transported her to be what? Farmed out as a prostitute? Does she know that? How do you like that, Cassie? It's one thing to be a part of a freak off, but when you're the main attraction and you're the golden calf that's being sold. And as far as the other aspects, this case is a dog. So we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. You don't know we never know what jurors think. We never know what they think behind the doors. Who's the leader? Who kind of is the, in the old days, we used to guess who the foreman was. You can always tell. Sometimes, like in New York State, the first juror, number one, is the foreman, and the foreman kind of like runs the show. You don't know about the effect of 4th of July coming up. Don't think that doesn't play a role in this. When you are at the end of you have been through this horror show. By the way, they're also they got to get to write the book, because they're already talking to their agents. They're talking to people who can book them, because afterwards they can say whatever they want. Not before, but after the verdict, they're going to be on every show. They're going to be booked on TMZ, and they're going to be getting a big dollar for this. Can you imagine if I was a juror? Oh, for God's sakes. I'd clean up, because I know what to say. Some people might not be able to. They might not also be able to explain the background and the tension and who was good and who wasn't. And a lot of this is just nonsense, because it's like watching cattle graze around in a field and describing it. Well, that one's moving over there. You don't know why. You're just describing things that are happening without understanding. Let's wait to the verdict. I mean, we can play this all day long. My opinion means nothing. My opinion means absolutely nothing. Maybe because I'm a lawyer. Maybe because I believe in the Constitution. I don't know. Would you ever think you would want me? Diddy would want me as a juror. I would be the perfect juror for Diddy. Terrible for the prosecution. Terrible. In other cases, I hate to say it, please don't give me a case involving a terrible person. Don't give me a terrible person with a weak case. Because if there was something involving a child and I had to find somebody not guilty, I don't know what I would do. I mean, it would be, I don't know if I could live with myself. But if I took my oath as a juror, and by the way, do you think people really, honest to God, want to be known as the guy who walked, let's say, Mengele? Come on. A lot of this is wonderful and it's terrific, and we pretend that there's a criminal justice system, but it is so fraught with problems you can't even believe it. In any event, so that's it. We'll pick up tomorrow. You're going to be talking about Allen charges and the like. By the way, my wife is the most brilliant. She's been on the Nancy Grace Conspiratorium Hour, and she is so good, so smart. It's not even fun. I mean, it's sickeningly obvious how smart she is. So we'll be back with that. Again, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to lie to you. I never lie to you. I always tell you the truth. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? I don't know they've reached a verdict. The verdict could be an acquittal. I don't know. They could walk them on everything. They've reached a verdict. And they might be hung up on a couple others. I would find them not guilty of everything. Everything. Because, hey, Cassie, in order for me to find you guilty of sex trafficking, I've got to find that first of all, you're a prostitute for purposes of the Mann Act. And he trafficked in you? How much did you make in this? $28-30 million? This is sex trafficking? You made out like a bandit. Now, granted, she had UTIs and all kinds of horrific genital maladies. But that's what happens when you turn yourself inside out like that. I understand it. But you were there the whole time. And she could have left. If you can't, and I know you're going to say, but that was a psychological anchor. Okay, could be. But that's a lot different than somebody who's had their passport taken away and they're chained up in some basement in Guadalajara. Okay? So we'll be back. First of all, thank you for being a part of this. I love your thoughts and comments below. They're terrific. They're fantastic. Also, make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Legal, because people are really finding us out. And I've always wanted to bring to you If there's some deep legal doctrine to explain, that's one thing. But a lot of this is just humanity, and a lot of it's just common sense. So remember, we'll see you tomorrow with a verdict, one way or the other. And don't forget, in the meantime, comment as you see fit. But before, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like this video. Gotta like this video. Subscribe. Oh, and now you can comment as you see fit. I even have questions for you to answer in the comment section. So I want to read those. Now, comment. I mean it this time. Comment as you see fit.